Yo, 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 what's good? Welcome back to the Hometeam Podcast, episode 7. It's a duo, it's a dialogue. Today is my boy Big Sam and Easy Ebe over here. Um, you got any words of wisdom, Sam, before we start officially?
Word of the day. When you think you're alone, you're never alone. God's
Mm,
always watching you.
God's always watching. Yep. For those of you theists out there, God is always watching. Um, but we welcome everybody, theists, atheists. We are here to discuss um, life and the state of the world. And today we have two main topics, and I'm sure we'll branch off to other things. This is episode 7, by the way. Go ahead, hit the like and subscribe. All right. If you like our discussions. And today we're going to talk about the shooting in Texas, if you've heard about that. And we're going to talk a little bit about the 2024 election, how it's going to be cooking. It's cooking. It's starting to cook. It's early, but it's starting to cook. We're almost halfway through the year, which means people are going to start running. People are going to start announcing their candidacies. Maybe, maybe not. All right. So, what's good, Sam? How's good with you?
What's good, gang? What's good, gang? I'm here in the U.S. He's across the country in Malaysia. Hopefully, they deport him back to the U.S. because
They might deport me soon. Yeah, back to
yeah,
the
he's a U.S.
USA.
national. We would love him back here, but so this is not just the coast to coast. This is a globe to globe. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Podcast. But we'll dive right into the first topic.
All right.
Basically, uh, there's been a lot of like conversations around this, especially lately between the somebody was mowing his lawn and he got shot. Somebody went into the wrong door, picking up his siblings, got shot. Cheerleader got into the wrong car and got shot. In terms of that, and the latest one in Texas, some guy was having a little too much fun firing his gun middle of the night. And the neighbor asked him, "Yo, I got kids. That's a young kid and a young newborn. Can you chill?" This guy didn't like it, went up to the neighbors, and I think it's 5 dead and 3 were injured
Yeah.
in terms of that. One was an 8-year-old. It's a very tragic story, and they were executed. It wasn't just thing; they were all executed. It was an execution style shooting, which is devastating when I heard. I mean, any loss of life, innocent loss of life, is devastating. So don't question it. But it's very gruesome now. This man, and I don't know if he's been caught yet. As of this morning, I know yesterday it wasn't yet. In terms of that, he was still at large and he went to the woods somewhere. But
Yeah.
so that's our general discussion
Yeah. So
about
before
it.
we
Do you
before we talk
chime in on this?
before we discuss more, yeah. So this is a story, the latest story in a few sort of neighborhood shootings. So there was the kid, the young black kid. He went and knocked on the door. Who it was the wrong door and got shot. Was in critical condition. The cheerleaders drive in the car driving up the wrong driveway, got shot. Um, and yeah, I'm not sure if there was one or two more that made the national news, but this is the latest one in which a Texas man, I can read it here. After neighbors complained about the noise he was making, a Texas man went next door with an AR-15 style rifle. Now, they always say AR-15 style rifle. I'm sure it's just a modified AR-15, and shot them, killing 5 people, including an 8-year-old child. An 8-year-old child died, um, as well as wounding 3 others. Okay, at a home in Cleveland, Texas, on Friday night. So 8 people were shot. 5 of them are dead. Yeah, I think you're right, Sam. I think he's still at large right now. So we actually, if I'm not mistaken, one of our previous podcast episodes, I think it was episode 2, one of our earlier ones, we did talk about gun control, and we did talk about the right to bear arms and what it means as an American to be able to bear arms and should people bear arms. And basically the consensus was yes, of course, Americans have the right to bear arms. We as Americans have the right to bear arms, but we also have the right to accept the risks of having neighbors that also have the right to bear arms, right? That was really the consensus, and that means these mass shootings are going to continue to happen as long as we hold up the Second Amendment. And then in another podcast episode, we're all from Lansing, East Lansing, Michigan, and just recently there was the campus shooting. So we did discuss this issue again. So this would actually be the third time we're covering a shooting style story. But I don't know, Sam. This seems to be a story that's we're gonna keep talking about, right? Because it's not gonna stop happening.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, it's not just in the U.S. There's been take like the New Zealand one when on Easter when two mosques were bombed. In terms of that one was, I think, one of the biggest ones this year recently in terms of that. But I would like to read, I guess, the definition, I guess, from one of the definitions of a mass shooting. It's from the FBI, I guess, an event in which one or more individuals are actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a populated area. The FBI has not set a minimum number of casualties to qualify as an event of mass shooting, but the U.S. statutory or the Investigation Assistance for Violent Crimes Act defines mass shootings as 3 or more killings in a single incident in terms of that. So the FBI doesn't really have a minimum day number, but the U.S., I guess, statute, an act of violent crimes calls mass killings
Yeah.
3 or more.
Yeah, I've heard 4 or more, so I guess it is 3 or more, depending
So
on who
it's
you
right
ask.
around that line in terms of that. But it's good to note that because there's statistics, I think, on right now on in the globe. The global average is 8
per country.
Yeah, per country.
And if you guys don't know how averages work, basically all it takes is one huge outlier to bring that number up.
Yeah, U.S. is when was this data taken? It says it's 101.
Basically, the second country with the most mass shootings would be probably 0, isn't it?
No, Russia 21.
Okay, that's interesting. And the Russians can have guns, right?
Yeah. Of course, it's Mother Russia.
It's Mother Russia. Yeah. So, and what's third?
Surprisingly, France at 8.
And fourth? Let's go. When does it reach less than 5?
Germany 5, Canada 4, Finland 3, Belgium 2. There's a lot tied at 2.
Okay.
And then it goes down to Australia at 1 and number 12.
These are only countries that keep statistics, obviously, because obviously they're war-torn countries where I'm sure, there are mass shootings of a different kind, war kind. So.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Of course, and individual killings are not counted here in terms of that. Like this is 3 in 1 occasion or more. It's just the way that is described. But so this comes down to the point. What do we do?
Yeah, I mean, we've already had this discussion about systemic problem with guns, but let's recontextualize this. Let's talk about just the few that's happened, right? The neighbor kind, knocking on the wrong door, get shot. Drive up the wrong driveway, get shot. Complain about your neighbor being too loud, get shot. What about those? What about those ones? How do we stop that?
How do we stop that? I mean,
should I not knock on a door anymore? Like, for example, right? For example, when we were in high school, right? We used to go fundraising for our football team. We played varsity football, played football, high school football. We had to sell what? What were we selling? Cookies?
No,
We
we're discount cards.
discount cards, yeah, discount cards, yeah. And you remember we were knocking door to door, knocking, selling discount cards, right? Can you imagine one of us got shot knocking on a door to sell discount cards?
At the same time, though, I'm in real estate and I've door knocked before too. In terms of that, it's communities make a difference where this is going. Sorry, my dog was. I got to check on her before she does something reckless. Makes a difference, and I see your point and how you are pushing that narrative. So you asked, what do we do? I mean, you and I'll repeat what I said last time in terms of it'll be. I'm not for no guns. That's not a solution that I agree. No guns at all. Yeah, I could see some of the statistics in Europe having lower guns in terms of that. But at the end of the day, just like that bombing in New Zealand, that mass killing, there's just evil people in this world. If they want a gun, they're going to get it. And it's hard to go backwards from
That's
where
not
we're
true,
at.
though. That's not true, though. There's evil
Well,
people everywhere. There's evil people everywhere in this world, but in America, we just choose to arm them, and that's why there's a lot more people dying.
It's hard
That's
to go
not true.
backwards.
It's not true that if bad people want a gun, they'll go get it. No, they don't. There's bad people in Malaysia. There's bad people in Spain. They don't find guns and they choose to kill 100 people. They don't, because if they did, they'd have mass shootings in Spain. If
They do have mass shootings.
No, they
just not as
don't.
much.
Whoa, how much? How much? Tell me how much mass shootings in Spain.
Single digits is just.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, saying things like that, you're just going against the science. You're going against the data. It's not.
Yeah,
true.
but at the same time, though, like, you can't go against the fact that there's already that much guns in America. There's just a.
New Zealand did it and Australia did it. That's all I'll say about that. They confiscated everybody's guns.
It's still not the same amount. It's percentages wise, it's not a significant factor in terms of the people that have guns.
Yeah, which is why. Yeah, which is why I said we're not. I don't really want to talk about systemic issues because we know there's a problem. Like, we know there's a gun problem in the U.S. I'm saying, like, if are you not scared to knock on doors anymore? Like, I feel like I'd be scared to knock on doors.
I'm not, because
I'd get shot.
There's contents of when I'm not knocking on any person's door in the middle of the night. I'm not doing that in certain neighborhoods in terms of that. And I'm not doing that not looking professional. I'm not going to go there just in sweatpants and be like knocking it. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain approach that I do. But going back to, we can discuss about this in circles, but instead of going, what can we do now and what can we do for the future? Taking the guns back, like saying like New Zealand, it's not the same. It's not the same case.
There's no reason to talk about what we can do. There's nothing we can do because obviously it's a mentality problem. You even said yourself you wouldn't do it.
What?
If the government said, okay, we're going to take everybody's guns, would you give your gun up?
First of all, I don't have a gun and I don't plan on getting a gun.
Do you think...
But I completely disagree about taking a gun. It's 100% disagree.
So there we go. There's nothing we can do. There's no point discussing it, right?
But there is, though. I think you have to be able to come to an agreement saying that some people should not be allowed to have guns. We already have rules like that in terms of Catalans can't have guns right now. Okay. In terms of this, some people ahead of time should not be allowed to have guns. There's some people at the post, if they showed action and not to be responsible, they should not be allowed to have guns. But ultimately, though, there should be a little bit more. There should be more restrictions in being able to have that gun. That's all that I say. people say that you should be, if I can go to war, I can have a gun, whatever. But there should be more restrictions to having a gun in terms of that.
Yeah, and you can add more restrictions, but unless there's no more guns around, you're not really gonna. I don't think you'll bring that number, that over 100 number in the U.S. down much. Like doing restrictions, like you said, you'll probably cut that number in half, which is, if you're thinking positively, you'll cut that number in half, and that's like, it's still significant because you're saving lives, but it's still a lot more than every other country, you know. So
I agree, but that's where you start
because
having that
because
the
who,
mentality. That's how you change the mentality, though,
yeah, incremental
as
change.
as
Yeah,
as
sure.
generations go. Because we live in Michigan. I know so many responsible gun owners.
True.
In
There's a
terms of
lot of
we've
responsible gun
had
owners.
when we went to college, how many do we have that were even that were kids that went hunting with their parents in terms of knowing how to be responsible. They were taught at the young age
Yeah,
in terms
hunting.
of
You don't need a semi-automatic or an automatic weapon to go hunting.
no, but you know how many bro, like we would you've been to you without naming names, like how many
We've
classrooms
talked
and how
about this
many
before.
I've
No,
seen ARs and everything
I
in
know.
terms I don't mean, and this is not just in the hood. I'm talking about in college campuses, how many students were just
Yeah,
chilling with ARs, stuff like that.
and that's what I
So
mean.
it's just the right. I get it. I get that respect to action and stuff like that. I get it. My thing is, it should be some more restrictions, especially like a mental eval and then a background check, not just you can just buy a gun right from Walmart.
I agree. We've talked
You know
about
what
this.
I'm
I
saying?
agree. Last time we talked about this, we agreed we want more restrictions at the very least. But the
Yeah, but what
problem
is your
is,
solutions though?
I already told you that I
There's
agree
no
with you.
solutions.
No, no,
Is your
no,
solution?
no, no. You'll never get that number in America down to less than 10 like the other countries ever, unless you ban all guns. Like, look, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. You can add more restrictions. You'll bring that number down maybe 20%. Because the first restriction you'd have to do is mental health. Okay, then you'd have to assume that people have access to medical care. Then so which is not going to happen. Number two, are you going to ban all guns or restrictions on what? Like the type of gun? We can't even ban ARs. We can't even ban ARs. So what type of restrictions do you think is going to happen? I don't think this restriction stuff is gonna ever happen in the U.S. It's too big of a business. I'm. We've already talked about this. What I would like, of course, I would like to ban all guns. But if I can't have that, I'd like restrictions. Okay. If I can't have that, I'd have restrictions. Okay. But neither of those things are going to happen. So I'm just more curious with these more recent string of shootings. I'm actually just more curious of behavioral things like, for example, the guy killed his neighbor because the neighbor complained on him. Shot his whole family. 5 out of 8 of them are dead, right? So, what do you think? If your neighbor, um, do you would you give it? Why would you give advice to the average American? If your neighbor is being loud, would you still go and complain to your neighbor, or would you be scared that your neighbor will suddenly come up and shoot your whole family? I feel like
He
I'm
had a
scared.
history of doing that though. Like he had a history of just firing his gun when he was drunk outside his house. He had a history of that. Am I going to
Okay,
approach the person that had a
so
history of just? Am I going to approach somebody who's been bad responsible with his gun
But
and
what
I've seen
what
it
else would you do
evidently? Am
though?
I going to
But what
approach?
else are you gonna do? Obviously, the cops are not gonna do anything about it. So you just have to live with it, or you
Did they call?
you don't think they called? He probably didn't do anything illegal.
There was a reported, but I mean that's all you could do.
Exactly.
When you have a family and your kids, so and I'm not blaming the person who went to go do it and anything. You asked me what I would do.
Yeah,
I
what you
would do
would
either
do?
that, I would continuously call the cops, or the irresponsible gun ownership,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm moving. Like that's what I would do.
Gotta move, right? Because I'm sure he called the cops many times, and the cops probably didn't do shit.
There's been reports of him, yeah.
Oh, reports didn't stop him. I mean, you don't think he knows who reported?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was reports. They didn't
Yeah,
stop him, and he continued to do it. In
yeah,
terms of that, I
yeah.
mean,
It's just a sad state of affairs in the United States.
and I get your point, but like We have the most car accidents because we have the most cars
Fucking
on.
car. Cars are necessary though. Guns are not necessary.
Some would argue against you on that in terms of
No,
they
guns are
say
not necessary.
necessary.
Sam, every other
That's
country
your
in the
opinion.
world, every other country in the world doesn't have guns, and they're fucking fine. Like they're fine.
There's a lot of countries in the world that don't have cars, and they're pretty fine.
No, they're not. There's not. What country doesn't have a car, Sam? Antarctica.
No. See, like you saying, even
Which
those countries
country
that
doesn't
don't
have
have
a car,
cars, they
Sam?
have guns.
Which first world country doesn't have cars, Sam? Which modern country doesn't have cars? Tell me.
In modern cities, there's not a lot of people have cars in like New York, for example.
They have cars, but most people just don't drive. But there's still cars up and down the block.
Yeah, but most people just don't own cars, though.
Yeah, but the rich people do, and the place is packed with cars. You've been to New York, you're just there. Did you see no cars in the middle of Manhattan?
That's a good point. But still, the majority of people don't have cars.
Don't try to defend the United States fucking addiction to guns. Like, it's not a debate.
We're addiction to a lot of things.
And
all I'm trying to point out.
Don't try to pretend like cars is a good analogy. It's
your
not.
argument is we have a lot of car accidents.
That's not my argument. That's your argument, and I think it's a shit argument because cars are necessary. Guns are not necessary.
Some would argue that guns are necessary.
Necessary for what, Sam? Necessary for what?
Protection.
Protection against who? Protection against who? Other people with guns, Sam. Other people with guns.
Robberies. We have the highest robbery.
Man, other places got robberies too.
But we have a high frequency of robberies too.
Yeah, because everybody has a gun, so it's so easy to rob people.
Home invasions?
What home invasions? You think that happens
There's a
every
lot of
day
home
here?
invasions that don't have guns.
People in Malaysia don't have guns. You think people are just robbing people left and right?
Yeah, but I don't know. But some people, and
no
also hunting. We're hunting more than anybody else.
And if anybody's listening to this, they want to come on the pod and argue with me about how necessary guns are. They can. Just don't hide it. Like, you like guns, fine. You love guns. Like, not you, Sam. I mean people. Like, if you love guns, good for you. Like, but don't pretend like it's not a problem. It's a problem. You just love your guns more than you value the safety of elementary school kids. You know, embrace it.
No, two things can be true at the same time.
No, they can't.
Those are not exclusive.
Oh yeah, prove to me when it's been non-exclusive. Where?
No, I'm saying I can love guns and I can love the safety of children.
But what if you don't live in a world where both can exist? You just don't. So you have to choose one or the other.
Who says I have to? You do.
Okay, fine. Yeah, to me, you have to. To me, we don't live in a world where you can have all your guns, automatic rifles, and make sure that all elementary school children are safe from mass shootings. There's no world in which that can be true. Okay? Because America fails. America is killing their neighbors with guns, killing people knocking on their doors with guns, killing children in elementary school with guns, killing children in high schools with guns, killing each other in cities, inner cities with guns. Who else are we killing with guns? I'm sure there's more. Shooting people out of hotel windows into concerts with guns. Shooting movie theaters with guns. Who else are we shooting with guns? We're shooting people in road rage incidents with guns. Like, that doesn't happen anywhere else. It only happens in the United States.
I just looked up some home burglary stats around the world. America's 15th.
Oh,
Denmark is in home invasions. Just
okay. Let's do the guns mass shooting stats again. Let's see where America is.
Home invasions.
Let's do the mass shooting
home
stats.
burglary rates. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do the mass shooting stats.
We already went through that.
I forgot. Remind me. Where's America? First in mass shootings. It's not like a close tie for second. The second country is Russia, more than 5 times less frequency.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point. This one, I agree, but your solution is not a solution. It's not a realistic
There is no
solution.
solution. What's your solution? Tell me. Restrictions?
That's a path forward.
Is it though? Is it though?
You're just
Like,
arguing to argue is all I'm
no, no, no,
saying.
no, no, no. Okay, no. Let's do this logically. Yeah. Let's talk about your solution, restrictions. Yeah. Which politician has talked about restrictions? Which politician has even started to put it on the Congress floor? Which politician have they even voted on restrictions? Like maybe they voted for med background checks, which failed, which failed. So I might as well fight for a ban. I might as well fight for a ban because restrictions aren't even winning. So I might as well fight for a ban. Like they're both equally not gonna happen. 0% for restrictions, 0% for a ban.
There's been restrictions added.
When? When was the last restriction added? I mean, like I don't know. Educate me.
Automatics are not allowed. You can buy them off market, but
You can make them with a true 3D printer. So
yeah, but that's a restriction, though.
yeah, I mean laws don't work if they're not being regulated.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's literally what I'm saying.
So we need more
Okay, so
regulation.
we're going around in circles, but that's where we conclude on this one.
Yeah.
If you agree to, or you could disagree with both of us and say keep it the same. If you agree with this Australia and New Zealand approach of just take their guns away, that
Look,
you know how I feel about it. All right,
yeah.
let's talk about I guess the politics next in terms of overall. My boy Tucker Carlson just got
Oh yeah.
dropped.
So
I'm devastated with this news.
no. Okay, first of all, okay, go ahead. Talk about Tucker.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I agree with Tucker. There's a few things that might not agree with him. The one thing I know that he does is he keeps it real. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't try to
Real
do
racist.
You just said I'm going to let you
Oh,
talk,
sorry. Yeah, no, I couldn't help myself.
but he keeps it pretty straightforward when in his approach, and he's at least he as a reporter though he always tries to get a lot of information out of the individual, for good or bad, in terms of that. He recently got canned just because of his. The way I understood it is that they wanted to. Fox News is reforming their programming in general in terms of their PR, but it's not something that he did per se, like in terms of. It wasn't allegations against him. They just were party views in their vision of the future. Didn't include Tucker Carlson.
That's not what happened.
Which is an L for Fox.
That is not what happened at all. Okay? All right, let me tell you what happened. Fox News just got their ass sued up the ass because of the Dominion fake news shit they keep propagating. One of the propagators, Tucker Carlson, lying about election fraud. So, they had to settle. If you call $700+ million settling, then yeah, sure, they settled. Okay, and one of the main reasons they had to fork out that much money to Dominion is because lying ass Tucker Carlson kept lying about election results. Now, Tucker Carlson, okay, no respect for the guy. I hope when he dies that he, I don't want to get, what I'm saying, get banned off YouTube, right? But Tucker Carlson racist. He called Arabs monkeys before. Okay, Tucker Carlson he treats his audience like 10-year-olds, like children. He knows what he's doing. He just keeps lying to them willingly because he knows the people that really listen to him don't double check anything he says. And also he literally peddled the ball tanning machines, guys. He thought if you are a big diehard Tucker Carlson fan, he thought you were so dumb he was selling you ball tanning machines. Like, Tucker Carlson pretends to be a man of the people. He goes against big corporations. One of the things I agree with him with is he's against corporations lately, but it's not really against corporations. That's probably one of the reasons he also got fired, by the way, because remember, Fox News is a big conglomerate. And now Tucker Carlson, okay, he damn, I totally forgot. Against big corporations. Yeah. If yeah, I don't know. A lot of problems with Tucker Carlson. Oh yeah, no. He pretends to
We
be a
lost a
man of the
great
people.
one. We lost a great
He
one.
pretends to be a man of the people, but you guys have to remember, he comes from wealth. He comes from the Swanson family. He's been rich his whole life. So he likes to pretend to be one of the people, but he's not. He doesn't know what it's like to pick themselves out of off with their own bootstraps. He was born rich, and he pretends. He tells you to do it all the time, but he's a hypocrite. So yeah, screw Tucker Carlson. I'm glad I don't have to see his face.
It'll be hardly. He's very missed and very hard to replace. A great one. Great one has fallen. Okay, pull up the link.
All right.
Let's get to our monthly overview of the 2024 candidates. Oh my! Hold on.
Yo.
Before we join Team Nikki, hold on.
Well, no. Wait, can you see? Hold on.
Yeah, I can see.
Oh shoot, I'm not.
Oh, can they see? I don't know. Yeah,
yeah. They can see.
Biden. Sorry, I almost said Brandon, but I mean Biden. Sorry, Sleepy Joe. Joe did announce his candidacy this week, maybe last week, in terms of that. Whatever you're listening to recently, he just announced he's officially running. He's running as the oldest president ever, mind you. And yeah, so we got that to look for the Democratic side. Mind you, both of us, I mean, I can't speak for E, but I'm an independent, a conservative independent. What does John say? I'm a fiscal
John says he's a fiscal conservative, but social liberal.
Yes,
that's like
I'm a fiscal conservative independent. I don't agree with that social stuff, but that's what I'll put it out there. So Biden,
yeah, okay, Biden.
Let's start just Biden. You think he has a shot against the field?
Which field? You mean the primaries or the nation?
There's no primaries for him. I'm talking about
fine. The field, yeah.
Any Republican candidate.
Look. Do you want to know how I'm analyzing 2024? I'll tell you how it's going to go down right now.
Don't get the full summary yet. We're going to go individual candidate by candidate. Just Biden or the field.
Biden. Sam, you think you're so independent, and me, I'm also independent. I'm independent, but I'm progressive. You're independent. You're conservative, leaning, right? But we're independents because we educate ourselves on current issues, and actually, like, even though we're different politically, like, a lot of our values are similar, right? And that we're not making this about us, but like,
we're not one topic guys.
Most of the country isn't like us, Sam. I'm sorry to say. Like, most of the country,
I think most of the country like us.
But most of the voters, I'll say that most of the voters are not like us. They see Biden running 2024, they cheer, and they go, yeah, Biden gonna beat whoever the Republican's gonna be.
Who cheers?
People cheer, bro, because there's no other better candidate. Like, half the country is more liberal or more progressive than Biden, but they can't vote for anybody else. So they have to vote for Biden. Because who's the alternative, right?
We have plenty to discuss. Great topic. Now, let's move on to the...
Okay, hold on. Before we move on, let's talk about Biden a little bit. Okay, so I am a progressive, but I'm disappointed that Bernie's not going to be running against Biden. I think it was it must have been a deal they made when Biden got elected into office. He put Bernie in that committee, the head of that committee, a big committee that I think is the financial committee. I forgot what it is, and I think after that he wasn't gonna, no matter what happens, as long as Biden runs for re-election, Bernie was never gonna run against him. Now, Biden has also announced that if for primaries he's not doing any debates, right? So basically they're saying it's closed. Incumbent going in, Joe Biden. So that's what we have to live with. Sam's going to talk about who the field will be. But for me, please, with what we know now, please, can we at least give me some hope in the change on the VP? If he's gonna stick with Kamala, then
Oh
fine.
my
But
goodness.
look, to me, no matter what you think of the VP, like to me, that might subtracts points from Biden. It doesn't add points from
Big.
Biden.
That's big.
So but I don't think he's gonna do it because they're fucking the Democrats are just a bunch of pussies, dude. Like they're on the right side from my perspective. They're on the right side of issues a lot of times, but they don't fight. They're dumb, and they take black voters and minority voters for granted. They don't do fight anything for them. They don't do shit for them. They just know that the other side is a detriment. So they say, look, at least if you vote for us, you're just not gonna get worse. That's the fucking DNC motto. I fucking hate that shit. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, the moment that it's two hypocrites that are on the ballot, I would have kind of even leaned towards him when against Trump if he had my girl Stacey Adams. If he had Stacey Adams, I would have been pro that ticket. If he had Stacey Adams, for real. But as soon as he had Kamala, oh my goodness, I was out. I was out immediately. I already know Biden's a flip flop, but I mean, you can get the real one in there. If you can get a real one in there, I would have been. Stacey Adams is a real one, through and through, from my perspective. I mean, at the end of the day. But he's not switching, and
No,
that's
he's
an
not,
L.
because they're
I don't think he has another chance. If I'm honest, I'll take the field all day.
Democrats don't make big moves. They play it safe all the time because they're a bunch of pussies.
Statistics say that the incumbent wins about 80% of the time in any election. In terms of that,
And he'll win.
in terms of that.
Okay, let's talk about your field. This
is an L.
Field? Who's your field?
Scroll through. Let's meet the candidates.
All right, what candidate? Nikki
No.
My candidate?
No, on that one. Just scroll down.
Oh, for real? There was. Oh my God! I didn't even know that was what we were doing. My bad. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. hey, Team Nikki all the way.
President Biden. He's gonna win.
Blah blah blah. That's your opinion.
Right,
it's an L.
All right.
I'll take the field all day.
All right. Here's the thing.
And then we got DT himself.
You say what you want to say about Donald Trump.
Huh?
You have something to say about Donald Trump?
I mean, he's obviously the leading candidate right now in terms of for the field.
He will wipe the floor on the Republican side. He will wipe the floor. Ron DeSantis is not even going to run anymore after that pudding ad he put out.
What?
You know the Donald Trump ad about DeSantis, the DeSantis eating pudding with his fingers, putting his hands where he's not supposed to be.
We said that last time. DeSantis had no shot against Trump.
We wiped the floor.
No shot.
So who has a shot?
The thing is, though, the people that went through Biden, that were independent, that were flip-flopping, that don't like Biden, and that voted for Biden just because they didn't like Trump, they're going to need somebody else to vote for this year. You know what I'm saying? If they don't like Biden and they don't like DT, they're going to need somebody else.
They still don't like Trump.
Yeah, they don't. But there's a good candidate. Right now, he's a front runner. I'll even have to concede on that. He's a front runner.
He's good
by far. My girl, Team Nikki. This is the gold. She's serving it on the platter. She's serving it on the platter.
I have to say though, I have to say, and I don't mean to sound like Hillary Clinton when I say this, but a lot of the Republicans, a lot of them are a little bit misogynistic. They don't like women candidates, not for president. Not for president, and I don't think she's gonna win. And that's not her fault, and I'm not. That's just my analysis on things. I'm not saying women can't. No, of course I believe women can do anything a man can in political office. It's just I don't think a lot of the country thinks that. I don't. This is why I don't think, especially on the Republican ticket. Oh man, come on.
I think she will, because at the end of the day, they need a change and a new look in terms of a new era. So they went from the more modern field in terms of the Republican Party. They can't just be on such a traditional old philosophy if they want to continuously. Let me just send this to.
When do the primaries end? Usually, in by April 2024, I think the primaries would have been done, or is it June? I think Nikki Haley will concede about 3 months or before the primary actually ends. I think by 2 months left in the primaries, Donald Trump would have already solidified his candidacy on the Republican ticket. That's how strong I think Donald Trump is on the Republican side. And to be honest, Donald Trump isn't as big of a populist nowadays as he was in 2016. So once Nikki Haley drops out, with everybody else dropping out about 3 months before the primaries end, Donald Trump will have the next 3 months to campaign until the actual national election. And Donald Trump's going to lose against Joe Biden because Donald Trump's not as popular as he was in 2016. And right now, polls show that in a head-to-head election with Joe Biden, Donald Trump's going to lose. So we're going to have Biden for another 4 years.
Polls are not reliable anymore, in my opinion, at the end of the day, especially when it's involving Trump at the end of the day. But the thing is, though, if the Republicans want a shot, I think Nikki Haley would be the best one. You would get a lot more moderates voters to flip over in terms of that. You'd get a lot of them to flip over to.
And that might be true. That might be true in a regular election cycle, right? But
yeah, that's a good point.
But this is an incumbent. Moderates will vote for. Moderates love Joe Biden, Sam. Moderates love Joe Biden. Moderates think that I'm talking about moderates that have not middle class. I'm talking about moderates. They think Joe Biden is doing amazing. There are people in
but the thing is, you got to take into account to the huge factor right here is economics. Economics are not the same right now. People are going through it in terms of finances and inflation. You don't live here. It's tough.
Yeah, it is.
It's tough.
I know it's tough. But as long as there's a conflict with Russia, Nikki Haley ain't winning shit. How does it look? Her against Putin. How does it look? It doesn't look good. You just have
Joe looks good. Was Joe?
It looks good against Nikki Haley. It looks good with Joe. I'm sorry, but a lot of people love Joe Biden, Sam. He even has a dark Brandon persona, his bad boy side. That doesn't work. It works with Joe, Sam. I know you don't buy it. I know, and I don't fucking buy it. But people.
No, but we all know he's a puppet. There's no way he's making daily decisions with his. He's daily involved.
No president makes daily decisions on their own.
Yeah, but there's some people that are more hands-on. There's no way he's hands-on. There's no way.
No. He just
at the age he's at. It's just maybe he built differently. Maybe he's the LeBron of politics. You know what I'm saying? He got that gene. And anyways, I'm Team Nikki. Let's go. Next one. Let's wrap this up. I gotta go.
What is this? I didn't we see him before?
I haven't ranked so high.
Man.
Huh? We talked about this last time too. He loaded though. You know what I'm saying? So he's coming from the Silicon Valley, conservative, good economy background. Yeah, it's really between.
Imagine a random.
Bro, he's your people, bro.
Random. He's Indian. No, it doesn't matter. Imagine a random. Let's think about the Republican base, right? Let's say a random person from Tennessee. A random person from Tennessee is not voting Vivek Ramaswamy into office.
Now he's being racist.
Huh? It's just the truth, dude. Like,
You can't give Tucker the Carlson the benefit of the doubt when he speaks the truth. But
I'm
all of
not
a
saying it's
sudden,
right or wrong. Like, I'm just saying
yeah,
that's what people do. Dude,
yeah.
you can go to Trump rallies right now and ask them where Barack Obama.
Look
They
at
still
this.
think he's born from Africa. They still do.
Look at you. Oh my,
Go
this is
go. Haven't you
profile.
been watching Jordan Klepper? Haven't you been watching Jordan Klepper of the Daily Show
Hey, I don't give the
interviewing
man a
Trump
shot.
supporters? Huh?
You know what I'm saying? I think he'll last longer than DeSantis.
Who? DeSantis ain't even gonna run.
To be honest, I don't think he was on last time, was he? The last time we did this?
I don't know.
I think
No. I haven't heard anything about him. I just know his name. He's from California.
So we're both in the same spot with Larry. I can't believe where's DeSantis? He really. This must not be a ranking.
There's no DeSantis, bro.
Who's this guy?
Asa Hutchinson. Oh my god.
Governor of Arkansas. Arkansas, bro.
No. Marianne Williamson. There we go. TikTok star Marianne Williamson. So, like I said earlier, Bernie's not running because I'm sure he made a deal with Joe that he won't run against him. He won't run against incumbents. And again,
She did officially declare though. I didn't know she officially declared.
Good. Like, my thing is, like, I love Bernie Sanders. Like, he's my favorite candidate ever, like, in my lifetime. But another problem with the Democrats is, you know, backing down too easily, not fighting for what's right, like just going for the next best option. Yeah, you're buddies with Joe Biden. You've been in Congress for like 50 years together. So anyway, Marianne Williamson, she's getting a lot of traction online because of her TikTok presence. The Gen Zs love her. Gen Zs love her. Gen Zs hate, you know, the older politicians. And, you know, if Joe Biden wanted to guarantee his spot as the candidate, as the president, he would tell Kamala Harris to step down.
You can't fire a black lady and put in a white lady, bro.
That's the thing. That's why they won't do it. And
because you know what you can do though? What? When Mariana gets cut,
what?
Vote for Team Nikki. Let's move on now. Kennedy Jr. It should be Bush, but we'll talk about. Bro, these are all L's, bro. This is an L.
Anti-vaccine, come on, man. Anti-vax, come on, man.
That's just an L's.
Read a book. Read a book. All right.
Hey, Trump Jr. I mean,
putting fingers himself.
Santos.
So, have you heard?
He got ruined on that ad, though. You're right. He got ruined, like railed.
They made the ad. They made the ad look like he was eating poop. They made that pudding look like
poop. So bad. And I saw that.
And then they said they
made him look like a child.
And then they made him in the ad. They said Ron DeSantis wanted to take your Social Security away, which is true. And it literally Donald Trump had the most progressive ad I've seen in like in years. Even though Donald Trump probably take away your Social Security,
but he's I don't know who, but he got a good team. Trump's got a good team.
And right now also, Ron DeSantis is about to get sued by Disney. Ron DeSantis being sued by Disney. Disney wins.
Yeah, that was too much.
Disney wins 10 out of 10.
Don't mess with Disney though. You don't mess with Disney.
So it's over for you.
Was too much. Mr. P. Mr. P. He's still in it. He's still in it.
He's not. Can you imagine Mike Pence debating Donald Trump in the primaries?
Can you just imagine him debating in general, first of all? But yeah, he's a good vice president kind of seat for Team Nikki. To be honest, that won't work. That won't work. As soon as I said it, that will not work. We need to win as money. Trump. You think Trump was set up to be a vice president?
Trump's not being vice shit.
Hell,
he still thinks he's president. He still thinks he's president.
he might think the primary's rigged when he loses. Move on.
Nah, this guy, we talked about him.
Tim Scott's still here. We talked about him last time.
We did.
Too.
I don't know who Chris Sununu is, but nobody's going to vote for president.
Governor of New Hampshire.
I'm sorry, but like,
these little small town nations. No, move on, bro.
can you imagine 47th president of the United States, President Sununu? I'm sorry. I don't mean to make fun of his name, but people
that's
ain't
even worse
people
than
people aren't
the
voting for
Victor
it.
one that you said.
Yeah,
The
people aren't
Victor
voting for
one.
it. Optics is important.
I do like him. He has a good shot later on. It's just not his time. He needs to build up his resume.
He says
Uh,
this is who's definitely not running. So
yeah, I know, but
so you know I'm not running.
he needs Pompey.
They're both not running. So
Yeah, but Hogan, I do like him.
what is
He's
he?
a good man. Yeah,
Okay.
Maryland. He's a Maryland. He was the Republican that was for vaccines. One of the few Republicans who was
Oh
for
yeah.
vaccines.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was Maryland governor in terms of that. That's his big, but like his speaking and intellectual, and not only that though, like he actually cares versus just BS intro politics. He's all about. He's a progressive Republican at the end of the day. That's the way I would describe him, man. All right, guys. This is brought to you by Sam and Ebe and Sam, two of
Episode
the
7.
finest, Midwest finest candidates out here. The other two finest, well, one has an exam for law school, and the other one has a newborn baby and is working, so it's hard for Saeed to hop on. So
Yeah. So
hopefully we can get another one in.
yeah, we'll try to get another one in within the week. We'd love. I mean, these topics we'd love to, of course, discuss them with the other two as well if they would like. So you know, definitely the election. So stick around.
Stick
Like
around,
and
Team
subscribe.
Nikki. We will be all about Team Nikki out
But
here.
Joe Biden's gonna win 2024. It's not
Team
even.
Nikki, I'll volunteer my services for free. Just give me merch.
Trump is gonna
merch.
wipe the floor on the Republican
No,
side
Team
and then
Nikki.
lose.
Trump could be our vice
Lose in the
president.
national.
That's open seat for him. Trump could be a vice president for Team Nikki. Let's go. Wrap it up.
All right.
Deuces.
Peace out.
Love y'all.
See you guys in the next episode.